Hello, fellow commanders. This is part 2 of the small series on where to hit each tank in the game. In this video, you'll learn about shot placement on all Tier 3 to 4 vehicles. I've added timestamps for each platoon for convenience. Now enough talking, let's start off with Tier 3. In this tier, you'll only have to worry about 5 platoons, with 2 of them being seasonal collectible ones, so it's really only 3, but I'll still cover all of them. Starting off, I'd like to point out that a side shot below the turret will normally almost always guarantee a one-shot kill, independent of the vehicle type. Repeating that for each platoon would just be a waste of time, so just keep that in mind. The M4A176W is really just a modified Sherman. Its ammo rack is located below the turret. With some vehicles, you may also penetrate it frontally, disabling most of the crew. The M6A1 is a double-barreled heavy tank. Hitting it into this frontal plate, although less likely to penetrate, or those 2 angled frontal panels will guarantee you a penetration. Its ammo rack is placed in the frontal part of the tank, right behind the driver. Hitting that spot will give you a guaranteed one-shot kill. The M18 GMC, aka Hellcat, is a lightly armored tank destroyer. Its ammo rack is placed in the right side of the turret, though it might be empty at times, and in the back of the hull, right next to the engine. Alternatively, an HE shell into the turret might also work. Be careful with these tanks though. They have a pretty high penetrating ability. The Comet I is armed with APDS rounds, giving it a pretty high penetrating capability. Its ammo lies below the turret and behind the machine gunner. Meanwhile, the Avenger is not much different. It also is able to use APDS shells, while its ammo lies right next to the driver, as shown here. Not sure about the safety of that spot for the driver. You want to know what I'm sure is very safe though? PACKSIFY. It is a Discord community with over 10,000 members, which helps players reliably buy in-game currencies like Golden Eagles and Platinum Wolves with a discount of up to 35%. An easy-to-use and user-friendly system topped off with an almost 24/7 reachable customer support allowed them to save players over $4.1 million worldwide. So why pay the snail the whole price when you can save some money in the process? Don't miss your chance and save on games today by following the link in the description. Thanks again to PACKSIFY for sponsoring this video. Going back to the British platoon, the Churchill 7 is a slow, heavy tank with pretty bad armor. Almost any Tier 4 is able to penetrate it frontally. Its ammo rack is located on the sides below the turret. Overall, a pretty bad tank, although it's the only one that has shrapnel AP rounds available. By the way, its frontal plate has a weak spot right here. The AA of the platoon, the Crusader, can easily be killed with a hit into the turret, either with HE or with AP, as the entirety of its ammo lies there. Next up is the collectible T-34-57 platoon. For the T-34, the ammo is located below the turret, while a huge weakness are its turret cheeks. The KV-1E has pretty strong armor. Most Tier 3S will struggle penetrating it. Its ammo also lies below the turret, with a weakness being the driver's window and the flat parts of the turret. The SU-100Y is overall not bad, except for its size. It's the lowest tier vehicle on which you can get a 120mm cannon. Its ammo lies on the sides, next to the breech, and it has a pretty weak frontal bottom plate. The BTR is an AA truck, armed with a 4-barreled cannon, able to penetrate Shermans and Panzers through their side armor. These right here are fuel tanks, while those little boxes are the ammo. Its weaknesses are high explosive shells and artillery. Next up is the KV-1C. This is a modified KV-1 with a stronger gun and an additional cupola. Hitting it into that cupola will definitely kill the commander, and with some luck might also hit the gunner. The MG port will have less armor than the frontal plate, so it'll be easier to penetrate. The ammo is located below the turret. The Sonderkampffahrzeug, or Puma in short, has a limited turret rotation and shouldn't be a huge problem. An HE shell anywhere will be enough for a kill. The ammo is located below and around the gun compartment. The ammo on the Jagdpanzer is located on the sides right next to the gun and also below it. Although the Ostwind also has its ammo located below the turret, hitting it is not always a one-shot kill. I'd recommend hitting its turret with a high explosive shell, just as shown in this clip. The last Tier 3 is the French E.B.R. This light-wheeled tank has a pretty good gun, being able to penetrate Tigers frontally. Its ammo is located all around the turret ring. Next is the ARL, a French heavy tank, although classified as a tank destroyer. Its ammo is located in the back of the turret, which does not have a lot of armor. In terms of firepower, it has a pretty high penetration stat, although the fact that it only has slugs for armor piercing makes it not as deadly. The M4A1 has an autoloader, giving it a faster reload speed. Its ammo is located below and in the back of the turret. It has the same hull as the Tier 3 Sherman, giving it the same weaknesses. The AMX-13 DCA has a powerful 40mm cannon, giving it the ability to penetrate KV and SU tanks without issues. Its ammo is located entirely in the turret. Getting to Tier 4, let's start off with the Tiger H1. It'll be a pretty common enemy on the field. Its ammo is mainly located below the turret, although I recommend hitting this spot anytime you have the chance, as it will always have ammo in it. The Jagdpanzer 38 has its ammunition on the sides, just as shown. Its frontal bottom plate can easily be penetrated with any Tier 4. The ammunition on the VK30 lies on the sides and below the turret. Its side hull armor is pretty weak, by the way. Another weak spot would be the flat armor on the turret. The Tiger E is overall very similar to the Tiger H1. The only difference is an additional machine gun on its turret. The VK45 has the same armament, with arguably worse frontal armor. Those angled frontal panels make it impossible to properly angle the tank, making it not as effective. Here are the spots you will always find ammo in. Next up is the Panzer 470A. This tank destroyer features a pretty strong gun with a fast reload, though it lacks in terms of armor for its tier. Its ammunition is located on the right side of the breech. Cobra King is a Sherman with a whole lot of frontal armor. Its ammo is, just as on other Shermans, below the turret. By the way, a common weak spot for such tanks is the MG port on the hull. The T-20 has its ammo between the driver and the machine gunner, and also below the turret. It has decent armor and a pretty hard-hitting gun. Don't let its looks deceive you. The M42 is the anti-air of this platoon. This tank usually has its ammo placed in these two containers on the sides of the hull. An accurate hit with AP will guarantee a kill. Again, HE into the turret will also work. The T-3485 is another Soviet medium tank. This time, the ammo mainly lies in the back of the turret and additionally below it. Be careful though, as the turret is pretty heavily armored, so I would still aim for the hull. The Su-152 is pretty scary to fight. The ammo is on both of the sides of the hull around the breech. Hitting it frontally pretty much anywhere though will be fatal, as it has so many weak spots. The IS-1 is somewhat similar to the T-34 in this platoon. There will be guaranteed ammo below the turret, while it may also be located in the back of it. A frontal hit into the bottom plate also has a big chance of killing it. Now, although the ZSU-37 looks like nothing special at first, its ability to penetrate and the amount of damage it can inflict may surprise you. All of its ammo is located below the turret ring, as shown here. This is the pizza car. You won't see it very often, especially as it is a seasonal vehicle. Anyways, these little boxes are where its ammo is located, and yes, high explosive will also work on it. The Sherman VC is a little different from its brothers. It can only use slugs or APDS shells and has its ammo below the turret, while also in the front, behind the machine gunner. The M36B1 is an open-top vehicle. Its ammo lies in the back of the turret and below it. With some luck, you might kill it with HE if you hit the turret correctly. The M4A3E2 is just another Sherman variant. Nothing special here. Just as the next vehicle in the platoon. Both have their ammo below the turret. The M36 GMC is another open-top vehicle, with its ammo located in the back of the turret, while also on both sides of the hull. The KV-122 has a similar ammo placement as the IS-1. This time, it's as guaranteed to be in the back of the turret and also below it. The best way to kill it is to aim for the center of its frontal bottom plate. The PT-76B is an amphibious tank with heat fin stabilized shells, giving it a very high penetration stat. Its ammo is fixed to the turret ring, just as shown here. The Su-122P, as the Su-152, also has its ammo on the sides of the hull. It is overall not a bad tank destroyer with a decent reload and a very good one-shotting capability. The BTRZD is a weird monstrosity able to reach 60 kilometers an hour. Here is where its ammunition is, although I would instead aim for the crew or load high explosive. Its cannons are pretty weak though, only able to penetrate lightly armored vehicles. Anyways, this is all the time I have for you today. This video is already longer than usual, and covering Tier 5 would just be overkill. We will sadly have to save it for a different video. Thank you very much for watching. I would really appreciate a like. And by the way, comment if something was unclear, or if you have any suggestions. I'm reading every comment. That's it for today. If you like this video, feel free to check out some of my other ones. Until next time.